I'll go ahead and record as well. Make sure we share it when it is over with quotes like we did Monday with the players. And we will do the format the same way. Raise your hand if you have a question, and I'll call on you. But first, we'll start with an opening statement from Coach Mitchell. Coach, you are on mute.
Well, my first Zoom press conference is off to a great start. And the technology is hopefully working now. You got me now, Evan?
Yes, sir. You're good to go.
Okay, great. Good to be with everybody today. It's an exciting season ahead, full of a lot of challenges, I'm sure, but we have an energetic team and a resilient team, and a team that's really worked hard to put themselves in a position to have a great season. And it's been a lot of fun to watch the team develop, and we're very excited about the upcoming season. It's certainly been a challenging last few months for our basketball program with what the pandemic has sent our way, and just so proud of how everyone has worked their way through this. And it's been a tremendous effort by so many people, players and staff. And then certainly for me, challenging times recovering from surgery that I had in June. And I'm just deeply appreciative and grateful to our staff and our players for carrying on in excellent fashion while I've been out. So it's been great to get back to work and to get back around the team, and been able to really get a good feel for what I think we're capable of. So exciting, unusual certainly, but nevertheless, we're excited for the 2021 season.
Thanks, Coach. Again, raise your hand if you have a question. Our first one today is from Graham Hayes.
Hi, Matthew. Thanks for being here, and glad to see you doing well there. Just
Thanks.
Curious to start, just what challenges are there or were there in putting together a non-conference schedule for the season?
Well, the challenge has been just what everyone is basically dealing with the same pandemic, but are working through it in different ways. And so, it's been challenging to get the conference schedule together and for people to agree what's going on, and for us to analyze what was in the best interest of just our member schools. And then as you start to work with non-conference, you're working with different conferences that are going in different directions, and everybody is working really hard to try to provide a safe environment so the students and players can have a season in 2021. So, just the limited number of games and the safety precautions that different schools are using, it's been quite challenging. So we are very close to finishing up ours, but it's tough out there right now to get a schedule put together with all those factors in play.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Larry Vaught.
Matthew, just wonder, I know you've talked a little bit about how difficult the past few months and all for you. What was it like for your family? Not just your player, but what was it like for your family this last few months?
Well, I appreciate how supportive they've been, and it was good in some respects as far as being able to just slow down and spend some time with family. So anytime, even for someone who, Larry, you've known for a long time, I'm not the smartest guy, so you start poking around my brain, there's not a whole lot of damage you can do there. But anytime you start drilling holes in your skull, it's a bit of a scary proposition, initially, but the team over at UK Healthcare just did an amazing job, and surgery was very successful, and my family was extremely supportive during my recovery. So very, very blessed and grateful for a wonderful family.
John Wong.
Hey, Matthew, it's good to see you up and about. I'm
Thanks,
sure
John.
that this year, I mean, it's been a while since you've had such a potentially massive post presence to play with. I mean, as a coach personally, how energizing is it for somebody like you to be able to think about strategy, to go along with Ryan Howard, to have all these bigs now to design your team around? Do you wake up in the middle of the night planning plays and things of that nature?
It's very exciting to see the talent that we have in the post position. And, we're so proud of how hard Kiki McKinney and Tatiana Wyatt have worked through their career when they haven't had a lot of depth, and have just played so hard and done such a great job. And you can see that experience show through in our practices. And so I think they're poised for a great senior season. And then, the three newcomers are just outstanding, and potentially we could have a very deep post rotation, which certainly we love and helps our style of play and trying to keep pressure both offensively and defensively. When you have some post players who can really run to the rim on offense and put pressure on the opponent in transition offense. And then I think our physical presence down around the basket is going to improve with the additions of Olivia and Dreana and Naya. They're all three of them are unique individual players. And so Olivia has great size, and she has that experience that she's gained over a couple of years in college already. And I like her maturity, and she's a very, very intelligent player, and just gives us some great size, great power around the rim. Dreana Edwards is just a fantastic player. She's not as tall as Olivia and Naya, but she is very, very powerful and great scorer, very versatile, can handle the basketball unusually well for a post player, can shoot the ball away from the basket, tough and physical around the basket, and a great passer. I think one of the big things that is unique this year is I've really enjoyed seeing us develop a high-low game that we just haven't had in the last few years. And a part of that is the way Dre's able to pass the ball, really, really good passer from the high post down into the low post. And then Nia Leveretter is a freshman who just motor will not stop. She just is going to give you everything she has, it seems, every practice. It's really impressive, and very long, explosive athlete. So she's already making her presence felt in practices with her rebounding, really has a great nose for the ball, great timing, can go get some big rebounds. And all three of those players that I just talked about, in addition to Kiki and Tot, really give us some added shot blocking. And so it's a good group. They work hard and are getting better, and we just have to really continue to develop and make sure we pay attention to the fundamentals. And if they'll come in with a great attitude every day, pay attention to fundamentals, and just show tremendous work ethic, they'll develop into a really, really good post scorer.
Larry Vaught.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting that. Matt, you told me to be real cautious and not put too much expectations on what I was thinking Treasure Hunt was going to bring to the team for you now. Now that you've been out on the court and seen her a few times, do I still need to be cautious, or is my optimism okay?
Oh, it's all right to be optimistic, Larry, because she's a talented player, and she is just working. All the freshmen, it just never fails. It seems like have to make an adjustment to the pace with which we practice and how important each play is in practice and the detail that you have to pay attention to. So she is tremendously talented, so gifted. Another physical presence and upgrade for us in the wing in our wing position. She just has great length, great size, very strong for a freshman, and all of that'll just continue to improve. And tremendous shooter, very poised ball handler. Still working hard to get up to speed defensively, but that's a process we go through every year, and so she's getting better at that every day. But tremendously gifted, talented. We just again, I'll just tell you, we have to do a great job coaching her and paying attention to the details and making sure that we help her learn the right way to do things on the basketball court and how to be a Kentucky Wildcat. And she has just shown tremendous improvement and, potentially can be a big weapon for us. I'm so excited she's with us.
Alex Walker.
Hey, Coach. Glad to hear you're doing well. Two questions for you. Number one, pardon me if I missed this over the summer, but is there an update on Jasmine and Robin's transfer at all, if they're eligible to play right away or if they have to wait a year? And number two, saw this morning that Jeff Wall said you guys won't be playing this year, won't be playing UK Louisville, but you are going to resume the series next year. Can you confirm that, number one? And number two, what was the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, we definitely are pushing that game back a year, and I just think it was a casualty of the pandemic of COVID-19, and I think the ACC settled in on 20 games, and that's certainly put some pressure on and some compression on the schedule, and I think in talking to Jeff, when he and I had conversation that it's an important game for our Commonwealth, and it's an important game for our program. They're always such a challenge each and every year and so tough. And so we definitely benefit by playing them. And this year we weren't able to get it done. I just think that there's some things that are happening during the pandemic that are not ideal, but we just got to make the best of it and move forward. And so we will definitely resume the series, and it's important. It's an important game. Jasmine and Robin we are not expecting them to play. There would have to be, you have to get some information different before I start to, count on them. So they are in practice and working hard and tremendous additions to the program. And if something on that changes, we will certainly update everyone as soon as it does. But just the way that I approach it, we are not expecting them to play. Would be a tremendous bonus if they were able to. So that's my update with Jasmine and Robin, and we're very fortunate to have them at Kentucky.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Christy Thomas-Gutty.
Hey, Matthew. First of all, great to see you. A year ago, you told me that for Ryan's improvement, you needed her to play with better pace and intensity. She mentioned pace the other day as well. What specifically have you and the staff been working on with her to help her in that area?
Well, Christy, I think the most important thing for us as a staff is to constantly remind Ryan of the goals that she set for herself. You know, she wants to be the best player in the country. And so there's a lot of people who may want to do that. She's one of the few people who wants to do it and actually has a chance to be that. So for us, I think it just comes down to trying to hold her to a high standard every day, because she is so gifted. You know, Christy, I think that it's a fine line between, you know, that talent being a blessing and that talent being a curse in some ways, and how you approach, if things come so easy to you, you feel like you're seeing results and you're seeing production and you're not giving your absolute best. That will, over time, will end up getting you to a spot where you aren't the best. And so it's just a matter of reminding her. She's so competitive, she's so driven, that just I think that's the one thing I go into practice with every day, just trying to make sure that I hold her to a very high standard. And you know, if I see something that she needs to do a little bit better, encouraging her to do that, because she is so well-rounded. She just makes such a difference every phase, offensively, defensively. She is can make game-changing plays, and so you know, she has a chance to be the best player out there. And you know, as a coaching staff, I think it's just important to remind her that that's what she wants to be, and she needs to practice with great pace and intensity each and every day. And it'll pay off for her as an individual, and it'll also pay huge dividends for how the other players respond. I always think when the best player on your team is the best person in practice, it really elevates everybody. And I always admired that out of Tamika Catchings, and watching her for a year. And she was, when I was at Tennessee, she was clearly the best player on the team and the best player in the country, really. And she just practiced so very hard. So I've always tried to use her as an example for our players, and really let them know what a big impact that can make on not only them as a player, but on the team and the team's success.
And then one last question. A year ago, for the better part of the season, a little over 30% of your offense was coming off opponents' turnovers. Now that you've got these rim protectors, how might the defense look differently this season? Are you able to get out and extend even more, knowing that, you know, mistakes are okay? And with those rim protectors, will you be able to do anything differently in terms of your overall defense?
Well, I think we can be more dynamic, definitely. And I think we've added athleticism, not only at the post, but we've also, we're more athletic on the wing, not only with newcomers, but some of our returners have just really, it's been incredible to me to see the progress they've made in these challenging times. You know, we certainly did not have our normal summer and time to focus in on getting stronger. And there was just a great commitment from our players on their own, at home. You know, Chastity Patterson looks fantastic. Blair Green just looks so much stronger and more athletic, and she's much more dynamic on the defensive end. Emma King has just, you know, made tremendous strides. You know, as a freshman that didn't play a tremendous amount, she obviously worked really, really hard. And you know, so that's just an example of some of our returners who just kind of stand out, and you're fueled with the confidence that you can go out and you can put some lineups out there that can extend and can play tough, pressure, disruptive defense. And then as far as anything differently, I really like how we look in some half court zone that's very aggressive, but we're bigger and longer and just take up a lot of space. And I think we can be a really disruptive zone defensive team in the half court this season. So a lot of excitement around that end of the court. Defensively, I think we have a lot of options where we can really put a lot of pressure on the opponent.
Thank you.
And one thing I'd say on that too is that we have that reputation, but we try to make it clear to the team you have to go out and earn it every single year. You can't just say because we're Kentucky we're gonna turn them over and we're going to get those points. You have to go out and earn it. And I like where we are on that right now. I think the team's working hard. We've got a long way to go and a lot of improvement to make, but I think this is going to have this group definitely has the potential to be an outstanding Kentucky attacking disruptive defense.
Thank you.
I have a couple of hand raised here, so we'll call out three here. We'll start with Zach Hogan, and then Graham Hayes, and then John Wong. Zach?
I don't know. What's
Coach.
Going on? Hey, how you doing?
Hey, just glad to hear you're doing better. I just wanted to talk to you about your rotations for the upcoming year. How you figure you're about to go 8 or 9, maybe even 10 players deep this year. Having a player like 6'4" Olivia Owens is a little bit different than the last couple of years. How does that potentially change your offensive game plan, kind of building on the inverse of that last question? And then I guess just how has the off season and your surgery and recovery kind of affected how you have been able to watch your players and figure out these rotations?
Yeah, so we are not at a spot yet where I feel comfortable on, exactly what those rotations will be. We're still developing and growing and trying to make practice extremely competitive. And so that's where we really always know that will shake out. But I do think there's potential, very realistic potential for us to be 10 deep. I just think that is, and really right now with all 12 of the players who are eligible for this season, you can see everybody out there. You can see a pathway for them to get playing time. We have a very talented group, and if Jasmine and Robin were eligible, we'd have 14. So I mean, we've done a really good job of building a solid team and a team with depth. And so now it's just up to the players and us as coaches to develop them and find out what those rotations will be. But it's there's some combinations where you can play 4 guards in one post and still be pretty have some pretty good size out on the court. And so I think that could cause some problems. You could even swing one of like a Dreana Edwards could swing out of the 4 or the 5 and probably get some reps at the 3. So there's some versatility there where we will just continue to let that develop and shake out in practice. So the way that it's affected me is that I in my recovery, I wasn't able to get around the team for a while and had to stay at home and rest. And then, you progress back. I just started observing some practices, and then finally we progressed into actually getting on the floor and getting back at it. And so just can't thank our coaching staff enough. Kyra Elsie, Nia Butts, Amber Smith, Daniel Boyce, one of our staff members has done a great job stepping on the floor and aiding the staff as we've developed the team. And Amy Tilley, our director of ops, has just done an amazing job, and Courtney Jones, our athletic trainer. I just can't tell you how much work they had to do. So really grateful for the staff and I'm grateful that they did such a great job and kept the core values and principles of our program going. And so the team, the first time I got to see the team, I was just really amazed. I was so grateful for how hard everybody had worked. So it's a lot of fun to have that experience and just to know that the program is very solid.
Graham Hayes.
Thanks. Matthew, you've talked about that recovery process being perhaps a little slower than you expected or maybe you hoped. What were some of the frustrations that you encountered during that? And even now, is it difficult to be patient with yourself?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge was just to be patient. So, the initial challenge was the physical recovery, and you having without getting into it in too much detail, the surgical area was hard and still is healing. So that was a big challenge. Just with the pain in your head and trying to get over that, and that bone heals very, very slowly, and so that is difficult and was difficult. And then just being patient and just knowing how fast-paced basketball is. It's just the team had been practicing, and then when you show up at practice, and boy, it's moving really fast. And so just being patient and knowing that it's just not all going to come back in one day. And the coaches have been so supportive and just been it's been an amazing process. But I do think just being patient when 25 years of coaching, when you're just going nonstop, then you have to slow down. That was a bit of a challenge.
John Wong, then Carolyn Peck, then Alex Walker.
Matthew, the environment in Memorial Coliseum is going to look a lot different this year with attendance capped at 15%. You're going to have a lot of people who are going to be disappointed they're not going to be able to eyeball your team in person. So much is dependent on enthusiasm and fan support. You've got such a loyal fan base. What do you want to say to the fans who just aren't going to be able to see your team this year in person?
Well, it's going to be a tough time, I'm sure, if we end up in that spot where people who want to come to the game can't come to the game, and that's so disappointing and I know sad for people. But I just hope that this team can, even if it's through watching on television.
Appears that MM is froze there. Let's see if he pops back on. There you go, Coach.
Okay. I'm not sure how much of that you heard, but
we left off at even if they get to see their personalities through television.
Yeah, and I just think this can be a team that can bring you a lot of joy and happiness watching. I know they're going to play really hard, and I would just, I think we've all had to learn how important our attitude and our outlook is during the pandemic, and I think we just got to, as a fan base, stay supportive and no matter how you are watching the game, whether you're fortunate enough to be in the building and watching, if that's a possibility, or if you're watching at home or listening on the radio, I think it's just important for everyone to stay positive and know that everyone's working as hard as humanly possible to provide this opportunity for our players and all the players around the country to play basketball. And we'll just have to be grateful for what we do have.
Carolyn Peck.
Coach Mitchell, very good to see you. I got a question. First is about limitations, and the other is the relief of limitations. So first of all, when a player comes back from injury or surgery, a doctor limits them. And I'm wondering if there are limits that have been placed on you and what you're allowed to do. Is there a time limit keeping a clock on you?
Yeah. So we definitely, Carolyn, that's been the plan, is to work back in incrementally and not to try to rush it too fast. And we talked a little bit earlier. That's what my surgeon just urged the entire time. Just if I didn't listen to anything else, please be patient. And because what you didn't want to do is get to a spot and set yourself back even further. So, it just started out, just go in when you feel you're up to doing a little bit of work. And so we just started, really, really small, like an hour or two a day. And it's built up from there. And then for a while, certainly the concern was my head still had not healed from the surgery. So you didn't want to be out and around the court and a ball, errant pass or something hit you. And so that kept me off the court for a while. And so that would be watching practice from the observation deck or something like that. And then it was October 15th when I was finally cleared physically to go back. And so we've just kind of been working, a steady build up, 25, 50, 75. And, the plan is to be full speed a little bit before we start the season. So, I'm able to give a lot of input and to, see a lot of practice. And like I said, the assistants have just done a great job. And I can't sing their praises enough. I just can't tell you what it was like to not see the team for a while and then go and see the progress that they're making. And basically, it looks exactly like a Kentucky basketball team. And I'm just really, really appreciative of the assistants and their commitment to what we have built here. So it definitely has been a slow and limited process, but I think it's been the smartest way to go about it.
And then when it comes to Ryan Howard, coming into last season, you had said she was going to have to take about 20 shots a game. Now you've got some other pieces around her. So now what is going to be the requirement of a Ryan Howard?
Yeah, I think that it's still important for her to stay really aggressive, Carolyn, and while I haven't had the conversation like that with her yet, as far as a number, when she's open, she needs to shoot the ball. She needs to every so if a team leaves her open every possession, she needs to shoot it. She is such a great scorer and shooter. It's just amazing. So, I used to get in trouble for shooting the ball, and when I played, and Ryan Howard's going to get in trouble for not shooting the ball. So she just needs to shoot. She needs to fire away and just have that mentality of aggressive attack mentality offensively, because she is a very special player, and any open shot for her is a good shot.
And then the last question I have, through adversity, usually there's something somebody can take from it that they've learned or gain an appreciation for. What has that been for you going through this?
Well, Carolyn, it's a pretty sobering moment. And it just makes you understand how precious life is. And I know we all say that and believe that, but it just makes you realize that that we're just not promised anything. And so what I've just tried to do is be real grateful to God for all the blessings I have of my family and then, you know, the opportunity to be around such a special group of people that's in our basketball program. These are incredible young women who are just going to make a great team, and a team that I think we're all going to be proud of. And it's just real incredible opportunity to be around a group of people like that. So I think it just has heightened my gratitude for the just tremendous people that are in my life, and I'm real grateful for that.
Well, Matthew, glad to see you back. And this might be an excuse for you to be able to wear a little toupee if you wanted to up top to protect that spot.
Well, I certainly need one. So maybe people would cut me some slack now. Yeah, I could say I'm covering the surgical wound, and also get rid of my bald spot. So that's a great idea, Carolyn. You always have good ideas like that. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Matthew.
Yeah.
Alex Walker.
Matthew, piggybacking off that question, a couple of questions ago about attendance restrictions. You know, no matter how many fans are going to be there this season, there's going to be some moments in games where there's some lulls and crowd noise and an area where a player needs to give your team that energy boost, right? Chastity Patterson seemed like every time she came into the game last year, she gave you guys that swagger, that energy, kind of picked you guys up a notch. Will you count on her extra this year to kind of provide that energy, especially with the restrictions that are going to be in place?
Yeah, I tell you, that's a great point. And she is doing such a great job, and she is electrifying. Her energy and her speed and her she's just so dynamic on both ends of the floor that I think we'll definitely look to her to provide some energy. And she has a huge heart and cares so much for her team, and just is a consummate playmaker. So she will rely on her a lot for energy, and she certainly brings it on the court right now. And so yeah, we'll rely on her a lot for that during this season.
Anything else? Thanks everyone for being here today. Thank you, Coach. It is good to see you, and we'll have another one of these closer to the season. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much.